your sexual marketplace value, the truth, and the lie. So in this video, it's going to be a part 2 branching off of last video, which talked about the 6 sixes and the traits that women look for in their ideal man. Now this video is going to be some good optimism for us guys out there, because the sexual marketplace value, basically what that is like if you could combine everything that you have as a man that a woman's attracted to, where would you fall on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, where would your marketplace value be accordingly? And so with guys here, we have, and you might have heard this before, men are born poor, women are born rich. And to branch off of that is that men, if you as a guy work on yourself, you grow as a person, you keep trying to find ways to improve your strengths, to work on your flaws, over time, your sexual marketplace value will grow. That's the beauty of it. Men age like wine. You guys have probably heard that before. Now, the flip side is for women. Women have this great marketplace value. They're very young years in life, and then once they hit about 30, it starts to drop. So, for you guys out there, the guys that have struggled with women in your early age, struggled getting attention or attraction from women, the beautiful thing is, a lot of guys go through their entire life thinking like this is how it's always going to be, and then sometimes they will settle for a woman that is not really treating him like he deserves to be treated. So with this sexual marketplace value, remember, there's optimism, because us men, if you keep growing, you keep working on yourself, your experiences, your chances, your attention from women will grow over time as you grow as a man. That's the beautiful part. And so I'm going to kind of expose the lie that we're fed in society and the actual truth of the matter. And this is going to be a big shout out again to Rollo Tomassi at therationalmale.com. I got the charts that I'm going to go over from his website, but I've read all 3 of his books, and they're great books. Really good with the red pill mindset. So here you go, part 2. Enjoy. And guys, hey, let's stay optimistic out there, because it is in your control. Once you get through these early parts of life, when we're born poor as men, but you keep working on yourself and you grow, then you become an unstoppable force. Now, in this part, we're going to talk about the SMV, that's your sexual marketplace value, the lie that we're told. It's going to make a lot of sense. Then I'm going to reveal kind of the truth of what the real sexual marketplace value is. And then we're going to talk about the wall. You might have heard of the wall. That's a fun one as well. Okay, so that quick recap of the 6 sixes, the 6-figure income, 600 horsepower, 6-pack abs, 6 months from last relationship, 6 feet tall, 6 inches in the pants. The recap of that was what it really means is women want a man that protects, provides, procreates. Now, let's flip this real quick again with what men want is we want youthful, we want beauty, we're attracted to the physical in a woman. That's kind of our first priority. That's how we fall in love, is first by being attracted to her. Then we're able to project our love onto her and build it up in our head, and we can have that love, but it starts with attraction from her physical beauty. We both know, everyone here watching this, listening, knows that men that have a lot of money, a lot of times you see them, they don't have a lot else going for them, but if they have a lot of money, they can still date really beautiful women. Again, it's different. We have different values, but that's why this lie is going to be important. Now, this is credit to Rollo Tomassi from therationalmale.com. And I've also read all 3 of his books. They're great. Highly recommend them for you guys if you want to understand more about kind of the real truth of men and women. And so here's the lie. And so don't get caught on this. I'm just going to kind of show you what this is not, in my opinion, at all true, but this is kind of what society believes. So if you look at this bottom part here, the age, I hope you can see my mouse there. So we have the age from 15 all the way to 70. That's just showing kind of our age just as human beings, right? So from 15, it shows that we start out, men in the purple, with like 0 value, and women at 15 start out with 5 value. And then it shows that women hit their peak sexual market value at around 18 years old, right? Boom. And then here is part of the lie. It shows, right? This is how the feminist movement, how our society wants us men and women to believe it really is. They want us to believe that from 18 to about mid 30s for women, and even a little bit farther, almost to 40 years old, is her peak value. And it doesn't start dropping off until about 40, and then it slowly drops off. And then it shows, okay, yeah, about 50 is when it really starts to hit a lower. Okay, that's a lie. That's definitely a lie, right? And then it shows men, and it shows, okay, I mean, just really think about this. Men, it shows that we never hit the same value as women. Look at that. Even at our peak value at 36 years old, it shows that we're never quite as valuable as women. And so I mean, just really think about this. How is this shaping how many guys you see that are totally pussy whipped? They're totally just always like on her beck and call, like they have women on a pedestal. Well, why? Because our society has shaped us basically to believe that women have this insane value. They have it all the way through here. We should be lucky at any point in time to be able to lock a woman down. Because look at this, at every single point, women have more value until maybe like way over here. All right, so that's a lie. Now, why is this a lie? Like, again, think about this. So one reason, a woman's biological value is derived mainly from her youth, her looks, and her fertility. So her beauty, youth, and fertility. Remember, that's how us men are programmed to first be attracted to a woman. Since youth and fertility decrease over time, a woman's value decreases over time more than a man. Because again, remember, with the 6 6s, right? Only half of those were physical stuff. The other half, that what women want, are like the high-paying job. She wants the nice car, all that, right? So for number 3 here, since men play more of a provider role, since our value is not all derived from our youth and beauty like women's are typically, right? His assets typically grow over time, so value can grow over time. Here is, actually, I want to go back to that one last time, just again, to really look, just a quick look at the difference between these two. This is, to me, what is more of the truth, all right? Look at that one. Okay, here we go. Again, this is from Rollo Tomassi. All credit there, the Rational Male. This is, a chart that he kind of made up here. So here is more of the truth. And it's more of the tortoise and the hare, right? Men are the tortoise and women are the hare. This is really the truth of the dating game. And the more men that figure this out, the better. Because, this is powerful when us guys really understand this. Because if we look again here, you see that women's early ages, which makes sense because of youth, beauty, fertility. Remember, women, and again, I don't know about you guys, but for me, one of the only points I ever thought about of why I really wanted marriage was to have a family, to have kids. But if you think about, like, let's just say that as women's value drops over time, the older she gets, the less able she is to actually have a child. That's just the truth of it, right? Her biological clock, we hear of that, right? So if you were a guy and you wanted to have a kid or whatever, and you ended up meeting a girl where she was even past that prime, now that's a big factor gone. That if guys don't know this is serious stuff. But let's see. Okay. Now, from women and you know what? I needed to do a little bit better job of describing what the SMV of 1 through 10 means. So the cliche of your value, she's a 10 out of 10, she's an 8 out of 10 or whatever. We kind of look at value for women is the scale of looks, almost like, oh yeah, she's a 10. Well, again, for this sexual marketplace value, for men, it's a lot of it is the status that you can provide, the money, the looks are a combination, but it's definitely not the main focus for women. That is why your scale as a man is not on your looks. It's a combination of that protect, provide, procreate. It's a combo of those. So when we say this, the 10, it doesn't mean that you're a 10 out of 10. Like you're at 38 and now you're a 10 out of 10. It's all based on your own personal growth. But this is basically taking into account if you're a man that is working on yourself and you are eating healthy, you're going to the gym, you're doing as best as you can to kind of live your best, then theoretically at the age of about 36 to 38 you will be hitting your peak. I am a guy that I believe, I'm 30 right now, that I believe that by 36, 38, because I have a lot of the other stuff down. I have all the game down, and now I'm growing my business, so I'll have more of the finances and all that. So I believe this is going to be very true for a guy like me. My peak value is still yet to come. I'm still like on the upswing from 30. All right, now I want to point out a couple things to bring this back. So one of the first things is like high school years. So let's think of age 15 here. And look at the arrow there. So why is a 15-year-old woman a value of 5, where a 15-year-old man is valued at just 1? That is a question that I know that I've been brainwashed to believe, is that, what I was always told was that women mature faster than men. So, when you're 15, the women want a more mature man, so she likes older guys. That was really my only explanation I ever had, and my only understanding I had of why, when I was 15 or when I was a freshman in high school, I couldn't get girls seemingly to be my age. I couldn't typically get them, or even especially not girls that were older than me. But it makes sense. Now let's really think about this again. Let's look at the 6 6s. Why would this make sense? All right, a 15-year-old boy. Now look at the number 1 there, 6-figure income. When I was 15, think about the 18-year-old boy, the upperclassman, because I remember 3 different girls when I was a freshman, and they were freshmen, that I liked a ton at different points in the year. They all dated upperclassmen. I never could figure it out. But when we really think of this scale, 1, I didn't have a job. They were upperclassmen. They did have a job. So they had an income. It didn't have to be 6 figures, but you can see why an 18-year-old man here was valued higher than a 15-year-old. He had income. He had money. It wasn't 6 figures, but he had some. 600 horsepower car. Well, when I was 15, I couldn't drive. I didn't have a car, period. The upperclassmen, they had cars, period. Oh, now we're starting to see why it makes sense that women were into the upperclassmen when we were growing up. 6-pack abs, kind of the same thing. Men are still going through puberty at 14, 15. The upperclassmen are more developed. They are going to be more muscular. 6 months from last, that one didn't apply. 6 feet tall, same thing. The upperclassmen are going to be bigger, stronger, and even bottom here, the 6 inches in the pants, going to be more experienced. So when I started to understand this type of, sexual marketplace value, the truth of it, a lot of things in my past made sense, like why even morph it when I was a freshman in college at about 19 years old. I remember when I was 19, wait, and let's see, was that right? When I was 19? Yeah, it's probably about 19. There would be, there's like this senior girl that was this sorority, like the queen of the sorority, like one of the hottest girls in the hottest sorority at my college. And I remember they put on a philanthropy event, and I was like, man, she's so sexy. But at the time, I knew it. I just had zero chance. Like that was because I was a 19-year-old freshman or whatever, 18, I don't remember. And she was the top of the top. Look at her value up here. She was the top of top. She was almost at her peak value. She was 21 or 22 or something, 23. So at that point, I didn't have a chance. Now, fast forward to, let's see, I think I was about 24 or 25, met her at a concert, and we hooked up and we started hanging out after that. And we got to the point where I didn't want to hang out with her anymore.
my value in my head increased more than hers. Now, I had no chance at about 18 or 19, but once I hit my mid 20s here and I had, just kind of that more value, I had a chance with her and then it worked. And that's something that would not have happened before. So this scale has everything that I have lived, makes perfect sense for kind of our values as men and women. Now let's look at one more spot here. This is a really crucial moment here. At age 30, this is when the tortoise catches the hare in that old cliche race. So as a woman approaches the age of 30, she starts to become aware that her value has been dropping. And as a man approaches 30, he starts to become aware that his value is growing. Now, this is interesting because to women, and we even know there are definitely some women that look still great at 30 physically, but think of her marketplace value. Her value drops because as she is hitting 30, there's still all this crop of women coming in that are 18 to 24 years old that are in their peak value. So every year, there's going to keep having this be replaced. So she is now competing with the top crop of women. Remember, if a woman wants the best possible man available, she's also going to be competing with these women that are now in their prime. So that is why her sexual marketplace value drops accordingly compared to what's out there. Because again, there's always going to be younger, prettier women that are joining the scene. And is men here, like right here, right? Men is we get older, we have our chance to grow that income. We have our chance to buy those nice cars. We get more stuff taken care of. And since our looks don't fade as much, we don't have to worry about our biological clock fading like women. That is when our peak kind of goes, oh shoot, at 30, that's our almost perfect intersectional point where men are at that value and women are at that value. So when you're both 30, it's like, okay, cool, we're both here. Women are on their way down though, and men are on the way up.
Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe. Peace.